We've got some pretty big news to take a look at here today involving the New York Rangers and their superstar forward, the player who has been the top point producer in each and every single season since he has joined the team, and of course that is Artemi Panarin. The superstar Russian is right now going to be entering the final season of his massive contract that he originally signed, of course, once he hit free agency, leaving the Columbus Blue Jackets, and he decided to join the Rangers. He signed that massive deal with just over like an $11.64 million cap hit, and he'll be entering the last year of that contract. And with that being said, there of course has been lots of talk amongst fans about kind of what's going to happen with Panarin as we have gone through the entire offseason almost pretty much now. We're into preseason. Regular season is not too far away, and of course, he is still yet to be signed to a new contract. So there's obviously lots of kind of questions about what's going to happen right now with Panarin and the Rangers. So in today's video, we're going to take a look at some pretty big news and updates here from Elliotte Friedman and Vince Mercogliano. And then also at the end of the video, we're going to take a look at some of the top free agents that are going to be available, because currently there are multiple different superstar and star caliber players that as of right now we're entering the last year of their contract and have yet to sign a new one with their current team. So it definitely is looking like as of right now, it could potentially be an absolutely loaded 2026 free agent class. So we'll take a look at the free agents that could become available potentially at the end of the video. But for right now, let's start off here with the news from Elliotte Friedman and Vince Mercogliano. So starting here with this Sportsnet article, they go on to say, though he's still a fantastic player, the calculus on a new Panarin pact is different from those aforementioned pending UFAs because he turns 34 in October. According to Sportsnet's Elliotte Friedman, the Rangers are looking at what happened between Kopitar, another star veteran player, and the LA Kings a couple years ago as a possible precedent for what might come next with Panarin. And of course, we did see back in 2023, July 6th, that summer, Kopitar did go out there and sign a 2-year extension with the LA Kings, giving him a $7 million cap hit per season. So back then, a couple off seasons ago, he went out there and signed a bit of a team-friendly deal with the LA Kings. I'm sure if he hit the open market and wanted to wait until the next offseason, of course, like the 2024 offseason, he probably would have been able, I'm sure, to get more than $7 million on a 2-year deal. I would imagine there were definitely teams that would have offered more than that with how good of a player he is, being that great two-way centerman, phenomenal defensively, but still, even though he is, getting up there into his kind of later 30s now, of course, he's still putting up some great offensive numbers. So he's not really kind of fallen back too much, and it does seem like he's still a great player. So I would imagine there would have been a team that would have given him more. So he does go out there and, pretty much signs that short-term deal with the LA Kings, obviously on a bit of a team-friendly deal, and that basically is going to take him until the end of his career, as it does seem like after this season, which is the last year of that 2-year extension, he is going to be retiring. So that's kind of where I guess they're talking about maybe Panarin would kind of sign a maybe 2, 3, 4-year deal, however long he wants to play possibly, and kind of maybe take a bit of a discount possibly and sign that bit of a shorter term deal with the Rangers to potentially, I guess, maybe end his career, or at least, just kind of keep him around here, but on a bit of a team-friendlier deal, not giving him that absolute kind of highest potential dollar value, because if he wants that, he very well might have to go somewhere else to get that, because the Rangers might not want to give that to him. So that's, I'm sure, where kind of Sportsnet's kind of getting at here with their point about the precedent with the Kopitar contract. And now let's take a look at a quote here from Elliotte Friedman, where he goes on to say, quote, I understand at some point in the offseason, the Rangers had that kind of conceptual conversation with Panarin. Is there a way you could go for the Rangers what Kopitar did for the Kings? Friedman said on 32 Thoughts, his podcast. Obviously, at this point in time, it hasn't happened. I don't know where that's going to go. I don't know if that's going to be a possibility, but I do know the two sides have the conversation, and obviously, at this point, Panarin is unsigned. And then, though, this is the kind of big news here from Vince Mercogliano, where he goes on to say, Elliotte Friedman reported on this morning's pod that New York Rangers approached Artemi Panarin's camp about a short-term, team-friendly extension, but didn't get a bite. that jives with what we wrote yesterday about the Rangers wanting to maintain cap flexibility and being in no rush to make a big commitment. The sense is they're only willing to do something now if it's at a discount rate. Priority is waiting to see what happens with the big 2026 free agent class. And that is exactly what I want to hear. And the reason why I say that is because this is a New York Rangers team that right now is in a spot where they might actually have the chance to get a legit player on the level of a Connor McDavid, a Jack Eichel, or a Kirill Kaprizov. And I'm not saying it's likely, but there right now is that possibility. So as a general manager like Chris Drury, I'm sure he's thinking, why would I go out there and lock up this guy who's in his mid-30s when I can potentially get an even better player who's 4, 5, 6 years younger than him, who can have a better impact and who's obviously going to be around for a whole lot longer at the NHL level, and you're maybe only having to pay an extra, couple or a few $1,000,000, right? I mean, Panarin, if he gets his absolute most amount of money compared to the cap it of, someone like a McDavid or a Kaprizov or an Eichel, it won't be that far off. It'll be a difference, but obviously it won't be that different. And I do think it would be worth it to probably spend that extra bit of money there, even if it is $3-4 million, to go out there and get that next level of talent there who's going to be around for a whole lot longer. So that's why I really do think this is absolutely the right move for the Rangers, especially with it being the New York Rangers, right? This is a top tier kind of franchise. And of course, I fully understand that, this team hasn't quite won that cup in a very long time. I'm 22 years old. I have never seen this team actually win the Stanley Cup. It happened before my lifetime, the last time it happened. So, I obviously get that this team hasn't won the cup, but they're still, if you think about it, still one of those kind of top echelon kind of franchises that a lot of players want to go to at the end of the day. So I think if it does seem like some of those top guys are actually going to end up making it to free agency potentially, then I really do think it is worth it to take that gamble and, go out there into next year's free agency next summer and try and sign that truly franchise-changing kind of player with the potential of it being, a guy that is truly the next level above a guy like Panarin, because of course he's a great player, but Kaprizov, Eichel, and McDavid, I do think are, more talented guys that can help this team a little bit better overall, especially, guys like McDavid and Eichel, they're going to help a little more on the defensive side of things, whereas, a guy like Panarin obviously isn't going to bring a whole lot on that side, which that's understandable. He's a great offensive guy for sure. But guys like Eichel and McDavid, of course, are going to be able to help in a bit more of a kind of defensive way as well. So that's why I really do think it's worth it, especially if you can somehow get one of those three guys out of, Eichel, McDavid, or Kaprizov. But there is some other great names out there as well that could potentially hit the market that aren't quite as good as those guys, but are still great. You've got the top defenseman that could be available in Rasmus Andersson. He's, of course, with the Calgary Flames. Could he be traded away? Will he sign an extension with them? As of right now, we don't know, but he is the top defenseman potentially available. Then you've got guys like Martin Netchas, Adrian Kempe, Alex Tuck, Nick Schmaltz, Anders Lee, John Carlson, another pretty good defenseman, although I would imagine he'll probably re-sign with the Capitals. Claude Giroux, even if he doesn't retire. Malkin as well, if he doesn't retire. Jamie Benn, he'd probably be a guy who remains, I would imagine, with the Dallas Stars. Maybe he ends up moving on. He'll still be more likely a pretty good player. Jaden Schwartz, Mason Marchment, Oliver Bjorkstrand. There's a lot of really talented players that are going to be potentially hitting the market. There's over 20, 25 players that have 50-point kind of potential that might end up hitting free agency. So there really is a kind of loaded potential class here, and it does seem like there is the potential that it could be really one of the best we have seen in a very, very long time. So it does make a lot of sense for the Rangers to potentially head into next offseason without having signed Artemi Panarin to a new extension. And also, you're going to have a guy like Carson Soucy also coming off the books. That's another 3.25 off there as well, so that's pretty good. You could dish off guys like Taylor Radish, Yusuf Parson if you had to. That's another $3 million combined, so you can definitely open up a lot of cap space for next offseason if the team has the idea that they want to go out there and sign some of the top free agents that are going to be available, and it does seem like there is the potential to see this be a truly loaded free agency next summer. Anyways, thank you all so much for watching today's video. If you have enjoyed, definitely don't forget to click that like and subscribe button for daily New York Rangers content, as I do post a video about the New York Rangers every single day at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So if you are a New York Rangers fan, this is the perfect place to be. And also, definitely don't forget to comment down below your thoughts on the New York Rangers possibly not giving an extension to Panarin and letting him walk into next summer's free agency, with the idea of this team potentially going out there and signing a different superstar player. Who do you want to see the team target if they do go into next summer with a bunch of cap space available, assuming, these guys do all hit free agency, which not all of them are, but some of them will, of course. So let me know your thoughts in the comment section down below. I'll catch you next one, and let's go Rangers.